Hello, this is Peter from allinclusivecaribbean-cruises.net and PetesTravel.com. Welcome. Let's take a look at Caribbean cruises from Tampa, Florida. Tampa, as you may know, is located on the southwestern uh, coast of Florida. Therefore, cruises leaving from the Tampa-cruise-port generally go to the western Caribbean. Tampa is pretty easy to get into. There is an international airport, so you will find flights going in, several airlines going into Tampa. And one thing I've noticed is that fares are very reasonable going into Tampa. It's not like Fort Lauderdale or Miami that can be a little bit more expensive. So it's a very good bet in terms of flying into the area to get on a cruise, to get on a Caribbean cruise. And another good thing is that the cruise port is not too far from the airport. As a matter of fact, it's about a 15-minute ride, 15 to 20 minutes from the airport. And so the taxi fare, if you are a family of three or four, then by all means take a taxi. It will work out to be cheaper. Will run you maybe $25 or so. Uh, that compared to the shuttle service, which will be, per head, which is going to be more money, $8 or so per head. They tend to lower the rate the more people you have in the family, so it works out a little bit cheaper. But it's still going to be more than if you were to take the taxi for four or five people, or let's say three or four to be comfortable. And they have bigger taxis because, as a matter of fact, we drove into Tampa for a cruise, and there were seven of us, and we were able to take a minivan. It was a taxi, but a minivan taxi that was able to carry all seven of us from the cruise port to the airport, so we could pick up a rental car, a rental minivan to get back home to Georgia. So Tampa is very easy to get into, and it's very easy to go from the airport to the cruise port. And and now let's talk more about the cruises that sail out of Tampa. I've talked about how easy it is to get into. So let's look at some of the cruises. Like I said, it's on the southwestern tip of the of Florida, and therefore the cruises from Tampa are generally Western Caribbean cruises. So you will find the cruises going to places like Cozumel, Mexico, Costa Maya, Mexico, Belize City, Honduras. There's even a city in Guatemala that's included in a Holland America itinerary. Then there's Grand Cayman, and there's even Key West that's included in some itineraries. So that's basically those are basically those are the main ports of call that your cruise out of Tampa, sorry, will or may include. Now the cruise lines sailing out of Tampa are some of the major ones. Carnival, of course. Then there is Holland America, and there is Norwegian, and there is Royal Caribbean. So those are four of the top cruise lines that sail the Caribbean, and they sail out of Tampa. You will find 4 and 5 day itineraries with Royal Caribbean and Carnival. But then you will also find longer cruises with Carnival, Holland America, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean. All of those will give you 7 day cruises from Tampa. And then I've noticed too that, especially for the year coming up, 2014, that some of the cruise lines, like Norwegian, has a 19-day cruise. Holland America has a 21-day cruise, and then they have some a little bit longer than 7, but less than the 19 or 21. So if you're in for something long, you can find it out of Tampa. If you're in for a 4 or 5 day cruise, you can also find that with Carnival or Royal Caribbean. We did a 5 day cruise out of Tampa. Our first cruise, by the way, was out of Tampa, and that was a Carnival cruise, Carnival Sensation. and that took us to 3 stops in the Western Caribbean. The last cruise we did out of Tampa was also a Carnival cruise, and this was Carnival Paradise, which still sails from Tampa. The Sensation no longer sails from Tampa, but the Paradise does. It's a smaller ship, but it was really nice. I was very impressed with how well kept the ship is. Beautifully decorated, and the cruise itself was amazing. As a matter of fact, I always enjoy the cruises. It's kind of hard for me to have a bad cruise. Thankfully, God has been good in that we've had uneventful cruises. And when I say uneventful, I mean bad experiences. So we're grateful for that, and so we've had good times. And so this Carnival Paradise cruise is really good. Even though I was somewhat hesitant to get on a smaller ship because we prefer the bigger boats, but this it did not disappoint at all. So anyway, as I said, you will find 4 shorter cruises, longer cruises from Tampa. You'll find them going to popular ports of call, like Grand Cayman, stops in Mexico, then Guatemala. Key West is also included in some itineraries. So you have a lot to look forward to if you plan to sail from Tampa. This is Peter from All Inclusive Caribbean Cruises and PetesTravel.com saying, go have fun, and I hope to see you on the high seas. Bye.